No, I'm in my feels, you two. Can you give me a second to calm down? Just like makes me want to text every single person that I know and tell them how much I love them and how much they mean to me. Hey y'all, my name is Taylor. I'm a therapist and I love metal music and I love Blink-182. It's genre adjacent. Okay, let's freaking do it. Blink-182 dropped new music and I haven't listened to it because I've been waiting to listen to it with you guys. So let's listen at the same time and talk about how the lyrics relate to mental health and how you can use them to hopefully improve your life and well-being. But before we get into that, I have to tell you about something and it's really, really cool, okay? All the cool kids are doing it. Anytime you feel something when I'm sharing, or if there's anything that you're feeling right now that doesn't feel super good, share it in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport. We have a support wall and they're right here in the comments on YouTube. So anything you want support for, you can just tag on HeartSupport and our community will reply with love and encouragement and good vibes, okay? You don't have to go through any of it alone. All right, let's get into it. Okay, I'm so excited for the new Blink. I can't wait. I literally started watching the Kardashians simply because I love Travis Barker so much. I'm just waiting to find my person so that we can dress up as Courtney and Travis for Halloween. All right, that's it. Let's do it. In 3, in 2, in 1, click. Oh.
Strangers, from strangers into brothers, from brothers into strangers. Once again, we saw the whole world.
Oh, it's like a gooey Blink song.
I couldn't even recognize my friends.
Oh, I don't really want to cry right now, you guys. Okay.
But nothing's any different. Right now feels the same, I wonder why. I wish they told us it shouldn't take a sickness or airplanes falling out the sky.
Okay.
Do I have to die to hear you miss me? Do I have to die to hear you say goodbye?
Am I gonna cry?
Like there's tomorrow. I don't wanna wait to do this one more time. One more time. One more.
Like, I love this, but I don't like it. Because it's like hurting me.
I miss you. Took time, but I admit it. It still hurts even after all these years. And I know that next time ain't always gonna happen. I gotta say I love you while we're here.
Oh.
Do I have to die to hear you miss me? Do I have to die to hear you say goodbye? I don't wanna act like there's tomorrow. I don't wanna wait to do this one more time. One more time. One more. One more time.
I'm like trying not to cry.
One more time. One more time. One more time. One more. One more time. One more time. One more time. I miss you.
In my spirit. Like, oh. Okay. And then the ad comes in like right away. And it's like, you might think you know about Snapchat. No, I'm in my feels, you two. Can you give me a second to calm down before you hit me with the advertisements? Okay. Well, I just noticed immediately, I think it's like so good how Travis has been so open about his struggles with flight anxiety and how his plane crash like had a really huge impact on him. And in this, it says, I wish they told us it shouldn't take a sickness. And like Mark was really sick and had cancer or airplanes falling out of the sky. And then Travis had that plane accident, and like it impacted both of their lives so profoundly. And I just think it's really, really powerful how they weaved those two experiences that they've both talked about and shared about so openly into this song. And like, I feel like it just gives us a little insight into what they learned from the song or from those experiences through the song by like kind of putting them in there so obviously. So, wow. I think this is really, really beautiful. I love Blink 182. Let's talk about the lyrics to One More Time. All right. Okay. I don't want to act like there's tomorrow. I don't want to wait to do this one more time. I think that on a like grand level, we know the quotes like live like there's no tomorrow and you never know when your last day is going to be. And like we all in like Carpe Diem, seize the day. Like we all know out here that the reality is that we never know and there might not be a tomorrow. And so you should do these things to create the life that you want right now. And I think on a micro day-to-day level, I know so many of us get stuck in this saying, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. And for me and my clients, I find this a lot with like habits that we're thinking about creating in the sense of like, oh, well, like I really want to meditate or I really want to read. And it's like, oh, well, today wasn't perfect and this happened and it's raining. And like I woke up a few minutes late and I'm really tired from work. So I'd rather just watch TV and I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. And, you know, the unfortunate thing is that we often, tomorrow never comes for us. And we often just keep putting these things off for tomorrow until suddenly years and years have passed and we have neglected to do all of the things that we really want to do or feel really important to us. And that's not to like shame anyone because honestly, I think part of the truth about why that happens is that often our lives are already really full with things that aren't necessarily for us and aren't necessarily aligned. And some of that is controllable and some of that is not. Like, for example, most of us have to have a job, right? So that's going to take up a big chunk of your day. But some of the more controllable things are like the relationships that you're in. Are they energizing you or are they taking from you? Or the activities that you engage in outside of that. Like thinking about, are these things that if tomorrow wasn't coming on a practical level, is what I'm doing today in this moment actually something that matters? And it's a really fine line because you would be like, maybe like, okay, well then I'm just going to quit my job because if tomorrow isn't coming. But we have to both hold that we need to plan for the future and plan and live like there might not be one, right? And how do we do that? How do we plan for the future and protect ourselves if and when it does come, and also live the moments of life that we can as full as possible so that if it doesn't come, we don't have any regrets. And I think finding that balance is really important, but asking ourselves that question of like, okay, if tomorrow wasn't going to come, and I only looked at the things that I was choosing to do, not the things that I have to do. What things am I choosing to do that I actually could make a different choice so that my life feels more fulfilled? Do you feel like you often live like there will always be tomorrow? Do you find yourself saying like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, whether it's a habit or putting off a task or something like that? Share in the comments below by tagging at HeartSupport and we'll encourage you. I wish they told us it shouldn't take a sickness or airplanes falling out of the sky. It's true that it shouldn't. And also it's a really beautiful effect of when we're faced with loss or the potential of loss, it is a catalyst for life. And what I mean by that is we often get so stuck in our routines. We go to work, we do our little tasks, we eat our food, we go to sleep, we do it again. We go to work, we do our little tasks, we see our friends, we eat our food, we do it again. And it's not until something big and potentially life-changing or life-ending shakes us from that rhythm often that we're able to catalyze our life in a new direction that actually feels more aligned. Because often the routines that we have don't serve us and they don't feel good and they're not helping us in any way, but they're comfortable and they're not so uncomfortable that it's worth changing. So we just get stuck in them. But then something huge happens. We lose someone. We find out we might lose ourselves. We might die. We are faced with grief. It's like when you're driving home from work and it's a route that you've drove a million times. And sometimes you get home and you don't even remember driving. But then one day you're driving down the road to work and maybe there's a ambulance or there was an accident on the way home and it suddenly jolts you into focus and maybe you have to even take a different route home. It's like that moment can be the catalyst for going in a new direction. It's really sad that it takes us often those moments of loss or potential loss to get catalyzed to go into a new direction. But we can use them as that springboard that helps us make a new decision. And it can be really helpful to try to hold on to that reminder for as long as possible, because even though in moments of big grief or big fear about potential grief, it feels like, oh, I will never be out of this place. I will always feel this. Feelings don't last. So we have to create reminders in our lives and ask people to hold us accountable to help us live the life that we actually want to live. And when we start going in a new direction, it can be really helpful to bring people along with us to keep us encouraged along the way. Can you relate to that? Have you ever had a moment of grief that put you in a new direction, good or bad? Share with us in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport and we'll encourage you. Do I have to die to hear you miss me? Do I have to die to hear you say goodbye? I think this is so freaking profound. I notice it a lot in my clients, particularly my male clients. And this is not a diss on men. This is a diss on the way that men are socialized to not share their feelings. I heard on a podcast recently, I thought this was so good, that being a man in society is like being in Fight Club. And the first rule of Fight Club is that you don't talk about Fight Club. What he meant by that was that men aren't allowed to talk about the pain they feel or the pain that they've inflicted on others. This is what I hear here. It's like, do I have to die to hear you miss me? Like these brothers in our lives, these people. And I think that women experience this too, but I just want to acknowledge that men face a certain pressure that's greater to not share their emotions and to not talk about longing or missing or caring for someone in the same way that women are given permission to do that. I think it's really hard to live in a world where you're feeling emotions all of the time, but you're taught, don't talk about Fight Club, don't talk about emotions, and how painful it is to then lose that person and not be able to actually share that with them. And that's something that I've experienced with my male clients a lot when it comes to grief, whether it was sudden or not. There is kind of this unspoken love and care that often happens, and these emotions go unresolved. And it's a reminder to me that, I think as a woman, I need to encourage the men in my life, not push them, but encourage them and be there for them and walk alongside them so that they can and do feel safe to express their emotions, and that they know that I think that that's a very strong thing to do, to express your emotions. But also that we just have to acknowledge that this is a reality and not pretend that it's as easy for everyone to talk about their emotions as maybe it is for someone like me. And we have to acknowledge that the socialization around gender and gender roles does impact who is like allowed to, or who feels comfortable expressing their emotions in a really profound way. And it's why men seek therapy less than women. It's part of that reason. And yeah, and I just think it's really important. Do you feel like you're not allowed to express your emotions, or that it would make you less of a man if you did? Share in the comments below by tagging at HeartSupport, and we'll encourage you. I love Blink 182. Wow, this was a really good song. It just like makes me want to text every single person that I know and tell them how much I love them and how much they mean to me. Just give them a big, big hug. Okay. I love you guys, and I love Blink 182, and I hope you have a great day. And if there's anything that I shared that sparks something in you, share in the comments by tagging at HeartSupport. We'll encourage you. Okay. Okay, bye.